Hey everyone, I'm Sargos and I'm gonna help you answer the question, what is Ixion? Ixion is a single-player survival city builder sci-fi game, meaning you have to weigh when and which resources to use to build things, because a bad choice at the wrong moment can cost you dearly. You need to be at the top of things, never a moment when you can drop your guard, as lives are at stake. The lives of the colony station Tycoon that is tasked with finding a new home for humanity. The game was made by Bulwark Studios, who are also known for making the iconic Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. It was released on both Steam and Epic in December of 2022 to mixed reviews, but after patching it is now leaning towards very positive. Latest game patch at the time of recording was released on August 2023. Release of the game was rough, mostly due to two problems, which are bugs and difficulty. The problem with bugs is a valid complaint in my opinion, but one that gets fixed with patching, as it happened with Ixion. The second issue, the difficulty, is in my opinion unjustified, as the game tells you that it is a survival game and you shouldn't expect an easy time. People argued that the game is too difficult, but the game devs addressed this with adding not only multiple difficulties, but also a custom difficulty setting, which allows the player to adjust in detail which aspect of the game needs to be easier or harder. This was the best move and showed the devs listen to their player base, a pro-consumer move. Yes, the devs had a vision of how hard the game should be, how grueling the whole journey should feel, but some players felt that the game difficulty setting was unfair or too hard. I saw a lot of comments that gave a negative grade, saying that the game was too hard, which is odd since the game is a survival game and you are expected to have a hard time. Same with games like Frostpunk or even Elden Ring. People were asking for a difficulty setting in Elden Ring, yet they didn't receive one. My opinion here was that the combination of bugs at launch and the difficulty forced the developers to appease the player base in order to save face, which worked, as the game is now mostly receiving positive reviews. The game starts with uplifting music and a voyage that you, as the administrator, take from Earth to the space station Tycoon. There you get briefed by many characters deeply involved in the project. The voice acting is superb and the whole handover process is nicely blended as the tutorial of the first step of the journey. The build area of the Sector 1 of the station is your build area where you'll need to manage space, almost like in Tetris, meaning not only are the resources scarce, but so is the building space, which is realistic. You'll build roads, housing, storage, production, docks, cryonic defrosting facilities, as well as research new buildings and upgrades. Later on you'll unlock additional sectors, up to 6 in total, but that comes with its own set of problems. Apart from the inner view of the station, you also have the outer, where all the solar panels and other station-wide supportive facilities are built, because there is no point in having them inside. Would a solar panel work inside? No. And lastly, there is the third view, the map or the solar system view, where you search for resources by sending probes. You mine said resources, haul and send your science ship to explore and survey. The resource mining and hauling is cleverly semi-automated, where you prioritize the resources. You don't manually send ships, apart from the science ship, which is used to trigger and progress the side and main quests. The population needs shelter, food, and they need medical facilities to keep them healthy. If they lose trust in you as the administrator, It's game over and you'll need to load from our checkpoint. The resources are gathered raw and need to be refined, which are used to build facilities and maintain the structural integrity of the station. If you are unable to keep the hull integrity above zero, the station falls apart. One of the main mechanics you lose a lot, which existed since the advent of Command & Conquer games back in 1995, and that is managing power consumption by turning off the power to buildings that aren't working or allowing some others to work since you don't have the capacity for all your needs. It really leaned into the whole rationalization of electricity, and they did it well. Later on, you'll be able to transfer resources and people between sectors, have a specialization for each sector, and adopt policies like trash recycling or the policy that turns corpses into recyclable waste. Space is cold and inhospitable place, and eating insects for every meal every day is not great, but it's better than the alternative. The story has been merged with the gameplay very nicely, and you have the intro cinematic and the debrief with random story pop-ups that trigger based on the status of your station and its population. There are side quests that you'll encounter while exploring with the science ship. It all starts up hopeful, only to, well, devolve into a survival situation pretty quickly. The tone of desperation is felt during the whole campaign, and the only advisor left is an AI, which means there is no one to help you. I'd just like to add that there are multiple endings, which gives you an incentive to pick up the game after a break, of course, and play through it, make different choices and see the different ending. Also, I have to mention the music, the superb music that resembles the style of Jean-Michel Jarre or Vangelis, made by Guillaume David, who also made the music from Mechanicas, the well-known Children of the Omnissiah and Noosphere. The user interface is clean, very much so. It provides enough information at a glance that is expanded by hovering or by going into a separate window. The different buildings are distinct and can easily be recognized. You won't spend time searching for that one building that you need. Conveniently, the whole station is in sectors, which helps with organizing and separating metallurgy from food production, from housing, and from space-related facilities. The map can be moved with WASD, buildings rotated with R, and you can pause time with space. Give yourself time to plan out stuff, or just increase game speed from 1 to 3, slow to fast. My experience with Ixion was a pleasant one. I felt stress, tension, relief, sense of accomplishment, but never frustration. I didn't have to battle the UI. Mostly things seemed clear and understandable. I do not like how the research tree is designed, as you can see the dependencies clearly, meaning you can research crop farm, and in the description it says it uses water, but it doesn't explain that you need to provide that water. Also, if you don't research it, you can't use it. I mean, you can build it, but you can't use it until you research Fusion Station, that is on the same research tree tier. Fusion Station provides water. It melts ice and provides water. Also, many research upgrades require other things on various parts of the tree, where I need to read and manually search, instead for it to be connected with lines or at least be a hyperlink that moves you to the required precursor. The story starts strong, immersive. I really wanted to find clues to what happened and what is happening. But towards the end, I felt like there was much less of active story element. People talking to me. Where did the awesome voice actors go? Even the AI advisor almost stopped talking to me. I felt like I was on the top and they were the people. No structure or advisory board of any kind. It kinda broke immersion for me. As a fan of Battlestar Galactica, I really think that people would try to form a leadership structure or body of any kind, some for their personal gain, some because they believe that it would help the people. The strong start with those awesome characters felt like we were building a relationship, and if that style remained, getting new members, advisors, and having them question my choices, having them sending feedback to me or finding their vlogs and listening to their personal thoughts, that would be epic. This was not so. Long time ago, when playing Homeworld back in '99, after I complete my tasks, I wouldn't jump before I mined everything in sight. Back then there were no survival games, but in Homeworld the resources transferred to the next mission, so I figured I'd carry as much as I could, and it paid out, big time. There was no difficulty setting. If you fail, you restart the mission. It was hard. So, with a lesson learned over 20 years ago, I played Ixion as the same way I played Homeworld. I mined until I couldn't mine anymore, or anything, and then I jumped to the next system. I would do this in reality. You would do this as well, or would you? Of course you would. Logic demands it. Gather every resources, every rock, every bit of stardust before you went to the unknown. At the end, this is Ixion, and the question is the search for a new home, for survival in the coldness of space, an impossible task, or is it just a mild inconvenience that is happening while you're listening to the story? How difficult do you think this task is? Thank you for your time. I hope I've given you enough info on the game, and if I've missed something, be sure to tell me about it in the comments. Also, like and subscribe, and if you're interested, I stream 3 times per week on Twitch.